It's an Out of Bounds video. I am Scotty Miller, joined by
VaGabond.
I am Baphomet.
Who is that?
And today we have a very special video, right? This is the YouTuber voice. I don't know. It's just coming out of me. What do you use most? What you think with most? Make decisions with most? The mind/brain, the heart, or the gut? Big old stomach. Each of us are going to pick one, debate all that bullshit. Yeah, hope you enjoy.
For those wondering why we didn't include the soul, me too.
Who would like to speak on which one they
Songs.
chose first?
Probably my mind. Because the question is like, which one do you think is used more frequently? I have such a control over my body through that. I can make myself feel anxious. I could do that on command, low-key. I can make myself feel sadness. I could do that on command. It's kind of crazy, and I know that those things stem from my history with my own mind, because there was a time period where I didn't really understand what that meant. Through those trial and errors, I learned that my own mind is like another person just living inside of my head.
I think we should take into account the one that's made some of the most important decisions too. That
That's
are
a completely different
curated
answer.
by.
You have a completely different answer.
You have a completely different answer. I think we should take into account both of those.
In the constant sense, yeah, I would still go with my mind. But with what makes the most important decisions for me, I would probably say my heart. My heart is like, you know what I'm saying? It's gone through a lot. Like, not even on some corny shit, but it's definitely gone through a lot. So it has that don't trust everything immediately mentality in the first place. So it looks at
guarding.
things. Yeah, you know how most people will say their heart gives them the emotional decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll get a lot of their impulses from their heart. I get that more from my mind. It's kind of set up weird because my heart has been so flip back and forth between up and down, you know what I'm saying, as above so below type shit. It's like my heart has grew not to just be so quickly attainable, and that's what makes me distant to a lot of girls. That's what makes me distant to some of my family, some of my friends. Like, I just have the weird feeling about everybody until I know who they are, and then once you are close to me, it's like, bro, I don't fucking play about shit when it comes to people that's directly in my corner. Like, you know what I mean? Perfect example, because I feel like I could say, oh, these two are, out of bounds, but, you see that. You know what I mean? You see that.
There's a visual
to
it.
You see
Yeah.
that. You see how I interact with these people. A family member of his little sister, Ken, shout out Ken, she be doing this camera shit for us a lot. I really, really fuck with her. That's
She
my
cool.
sister. Yeah,
She
that's
cool.
my sister to be, too, and it's like,
The
bro,
goat.
she'll probably tell y'all in the future when she, does her little, own videos.
She gonna be in videos
you know
and
what I
shit.
mean?
Yeah,
shit like
eventually.
that. When she starts doing her own little videos and things of that nature, she will tell you, I treat her very kindredly. And that comes from my heart. But, obviously when I first met her, I was like, I'm not talking to her. I don't have no reason to. Or even his own parents, who I call my own parents now. I have my friends' parents in categories. But, I don't know if that's kind of sociopathic. It might be. But, yo, I know that these people are my homies' parents, but, they have nothing to do with me. But then when it is close, it's my heart that's controlling my feelings towards people who are close to me. And then it's my mind who addresses the stages before it.
So mind is, the main one, and then
Yeah.
heart would be, if you were to base it off of importancy. Okay. Squilliam, fancy son, would you like that?
That's crazy.
Oh, hell no. You cannot say that. You gotta cut that bullshit. I would have to say the corniest shit. The heart.
My heart speaks to me.
Well, basically the heart, because I do shit out of blindness. I had the intelligence to decipher when somebody doing bullshit, or you know what I mean, I know I should be in a different situation, logically speaking. But a lot of times I just ignore that out of character, honestly, in a sense. So I mean, you ignore logic over just because emotion. Now, more primarily though, I use my mind, logically speaking.
How much of your
Man.
actions do you think your heart governs?
Okay, general the whole time, 90. It was pity me, type shit, but not feeling enough. Type deep shit where it would go back to my childhood, where I don't feel enough with my parents. Mainly in isolation with myself as a child. I was diving into knowledge at a young age. My grandma gave me a computer and shit, and so mainly that's the disconnect. I would still go outside and shit, I still had the but knowledge was definitely something that made Because I still like to have a childlike essence. I still want to be from
You don't
the
want to
heart.
lose that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. What of those three things do you think holds your childlike essence? Like, where do you think your inner child is held?
In my heart.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm the type of person where I can't really reflect too much.
I'm all the way over there.
I think it's because I was going against my natural.
I take
like,
a shit. Man, I could have took that shit a little better.
I think I was going against my nature in a sense. Trying to hurt me, you're behind me. Boom.
I was debating between two. The one I was debating between was the mind, and then the one I decided with was the gut. When it comes to the gut, and this bull right here, he can attest to this plenty of times. I've hit him with the, yo, I'm having a Scottman gut feeling, and it's basically a G call almost to some extent with certain things. I've trusted my gut so much for the last like 10 years, and I took into account the frequency and the how important the frequency being, just it'll just happen so randomly and so like often where I just have a moment where I'm like, oh shit, the gut telling me that this is the thing that should happen right now, the decision I should make. The importancy of the gut feeling stems from mostly my creative endeavors. When making music, go off a lot of my gut. And I know usually you'd think you would go more off of the mind based on the way music is constructed and made. When I'm making some shit or I'm writing based on just what's happening.
So
you know what I mean?
Would you say that you feel that through your senses?
I guess you could say that, yeah. Just due to the fact that I'm like really connected to my gut. Obviously, the heart leads a lot of decisions. Mind leads a lot of decisions. Like I said, I was debating between the mind/brain and then the gut. The mind is like, to me, where I go into my statistical shit. But then the heart is like where all of my interpersonal connection stuff came from, like with the group or my family. Shit like that is more heart-based. But then almost everything else is gut. This is the decision I have to make. Then I'll leave the mind and the heart to decide whether it's the right or wrong thing. The gut is the more making the decision to me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I definitely know what you mean. Because you're talking, like, how I perceive it, you're just saying you literally feel. Like, yeah, I've been saying this for mad long. Like, you know how I say flow. So it's like, in a sense, like, damn, that was really more so my answer. Like, he might not be in situations where, like, his instincts are telling him to sock somebody. But I've been in instances where, like, I should have socked him.
My gut can get me in trouble, though.
I mean,
and that's why I think the difference
they all
is.
can.
No, yeah, they can.
Because the heart, bro, will have you kill crime and passion, bro.
My mind is what filters those emotions from the gut.
But what if you were so logical that you had no emotion? Like,
I've
the
gone through
extreme.
that. I feel like
to where like you thought you could get away with like mass murder
recently.
or some type shit,
Bro,
or become a cult leader. Like,
I literally just got out of that phase of my life recently. I'm 20 now. I was 19, bro. I thought of it to myself that I was this way. And a lot of my connections with especially women also would come back and reflect on me this way, where I was so logical that I didn't have emotions because people would tell me that I'm not sensible. If someone's going through a problem and I'm like, well, just do this. And they're like, it's not that easy, you know, I'm going through grief or whatever. I'm like, well...
Everyone handles it differently and shit.
And see, like, my problem was, I would think, like, but this is, like, literally the best way to handle it. Like, if you can't handle moving like this, then you're just ass.
Like, more focused on the direct solution than the...
Because every problem has an answer. There's no problem that does not have an answer. You may not immediately understand it, but it's like, when it happens now. I've grown into the point where I'm like, I get it, things happen. Growth is like the best teacher that we have in these kinds of situations.
You said growth?
Yeah, growth.
Yeah, we all are going through phases with all three of these genres. Definitely phases. I definitely think that John know where you were saying like, with like being too logical. Sometimes though it's like, damn, like, and this I'd be too logical, but then I'll think like, alright, somebody bitching and moaning about their current status, but then like you gotta think, alright, nigga, you bitching and moaning, but there's a nigga in a third world country, like you're in America.
Like not being able to relate to those things because of that.
It's not even relate to them. It's just being too logical to be
like the empathy
and like it's like no empathy to like let people just feel emotion. Some people, they have to feel emotion before they can like internalize it and then like transmute it. Whereas like other people, they might have to like just attack it and not think about it and think through it logically as they're doing their dues to better themselves and keep themselves distracted, because if they fall, they will fall.
Like, even now, I try not to get caught up into my emotions too much. Like, for me, it's like being an emotional nigga. I don't suggest that for men at all. I would have conversations with women about like what makes a man an emotional man. They would say things like, oh, well, if a man loses his mom and you see like not allowed to show emotion and things of that nature, like obviously no shit like that, but it's being able to just have a sense of awareness of, one, where your emotions come from and why you feel those things. Being able to navigate through various emotions that you feel as a man, because a man's emotion is very powerful and it's not something that just should be thrown around willy-nilly. Manhood just in general is like a leading force in the world right now.
I feel like it's the vulnerability and like showing that much. Like, you know what I mean? Because like in any situation, if a man is too emotional, not enough respect for self, like that's an emotion that can be tied to like depression or something. You not gonna be that man to that woman. She gonna walk all over you.
Yeah, I'm kind of on a little bit polar opposite, a little bit in terms of, because I myself am a pretty emotional man.
You have a control on your emotions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then I'm always intact and in touch with them, though.
Being in touch with them, like I said, having an awareness for it is important. But being an emotional nigga is like knowing
like
that you're
about
there
shit?
and not, like just like over expressive about certain things. Like being a passionate man is one thing. If I have a really strong obsession with like a piece of art, and I could go into detail with a woman about what this piece of art makes me feel, how it inspires me, or like the various visions I can get from that, that's being passionate. But if I just start bawling, I just start crying intensively, and I'm like a mess for like an hour, I feel like it's better to convey these things in the words.
I feel like you have more emotional control than you give yourself, though.
Cause
like cause like type shit, when you were saying like I'm an emotional man, but I don't let that stop me from what I gotta get done, you know what I mean? But that's like the basis of like emotional intelligence, like discipline, because that's when the foundation of that comes along.
In his example of like talking about a piece of art with a woman and I just immediately start bawling, like like that's a little crazy, but I don't see nothing wrong with, because I've cried to music so many times and I've cried around people listening to music, and to me that's something I couldn't necessarily control happening. And sometimes it's not sadness, just my emotions peaking to the point where I show tears.
Okay, so
you know what I mean?
That affects you for the rest of the day.
Not necessarily. That's why I said what you said is like an extreme of you probably don't want to do that. But I think the showing face like, in that form is not necessarily.
Album, I don't feel like talking to nobody. Don't text me.
And that's where the control of my emotions would come in, because I could be like that.
I feel that.
Yeah.
He said he's an emotional man. He said he's more of an emotional man. I would say I'm something like counter emotional. You could extend this off of being logical, but I like to give it a different name because it deals specifically with how to handle a emotion. Like whenever I feel a thing strongly, I always question it. Okay, why is this happening? And it happens in like very split seconds. I just like why, and I feel like that's why I'm also able to control these things, like certain feelings going through a young nigga body.
But would you say like it's more so that you know how to identify you cycling through emotions quicker than other people? Because I wouldn't really call that counter.
But I would because it's like their emotion. You can akin an emotion to an attack because it's like a not outer source.
But that's what I'm saying. You're resolving it.
It's a thing that can change your poise. Yeah. So I could call it an attack, and then this is my counter.
So can I challenge your way of thinking when I ask you this? So would that still not be feeling them in a sense, to where as though if you weren't resolving them that quickly to logically like analyze them, you would like let them pile or let them sit? Because unresolved issues don't disappear. You're still feeling emotions, but all you're doing is you're resolving them, because you said it was an attack. You're resolving them with yourself, because that's all it is. You have to internalize everything at the end of the day. So like you're just resolving it with yourself in a manner that's to your speed. I don't think you're more so counter emotion. I think you're more so just somebody that can logically break things down quicker. More so like, all right, damn, all right, I know that what this leads to. Like more in a stoic manner.
I feel like that fits. I would still lean more to calling it a counter emotion because of how specific it is to this. Whereas with my logical breaking down of things, I can look at it from an emotional perspective. I can be emotional in my logical decisiveness. They're just two different things to me. Yeah, I can look at it from emotional. I can look at it from a spiritual. I can look at it from an anti-spirit. Like I can put myself in the shoes of people pretty easily. Once I've figured out what it is to experience the feeling of sonderness, bro. like, bro, there's like a worm out here really doing shit right now. Like that ain't like, bro, ain't that crazy, bro?
The life of a worm, which is eating dirt to shit dirt. Ain't that some shit? We ain't.
And then the birds eat the worm. Like, bro, them niggas is out here.
But there's no emotion attached to that. It's just an animalistic thing.
And that's also how I came to really believe in a God too, because it's like, bro, I don't think things just happen to be this complicated. I think God knows when you're talking to him. Yeah. As long as your heart is right. Mind, your heart, your gut all do different things. So they all tap into different things. If we're not talking about the soul, the heart is the closest thing that it's connected to God. Probably.
Mind is telling me to
my body!
Yeah. Dick in your mama booty, nigga.
So yeah, that was the Out of Bounds. Regardless of which one of the three we all picked, they all govern very specific things. We've all used them in various situations.
Have the roles.
So this has been the mind, the heart, or the... Let us know in the comments, what do you use more frequently? All of our videos that are topical, you can obviously let us know your own thoughts, unless they're ass.
Oh, I think I found a secret one. You know, you think with the mind, the heart, the gut, and last but not least, your nuts, man.
But people who think with their dick should not deserve to live.
Damn, why can't I just want to fuck? Like,
I'm going to be in the porn industry. Y'all will see me stroking. But yeah, that has been Out of Bounds. I am Bond.
So,
Scott T. Miller. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. That would be great.
oh my god, bro. What the...
I should do what?
That way. That way. I get food stamps.
Yeah.
What the fuck is you talking about? I heard it, yo. Food stamps, nigga.